oldest of 9 children. I have a brother and then 7 sisters. Graduated from Lorraine Catholic High School in 1972. And that's kind of where substance abuse started. It was the end of the 60s, very tumultuous times in this country. People were drawn apart, taking sides. The war was going on. Everybody had somebody that they knew dying. Along with the other side of that was, if it feels good, do it, kind of. So there was a lot of drug experimentation. Experimentation moved into regular use, moved into like habitual use, moved into, like addiction. The problems began, the real serious problems, a series of back injuries that required surgeries, 4 to be exact, a lot of prescription pain medication that I was on for a long period of time. Became addicted. When that ran out, started buying drugs on the street. I'd get sober, get a period of time, move to another place, stay sober, relapse. So really from 2007 to 2015, it was very kind of like a nomadic period where I was moving all over the place. I was a step away from being on the street. I was already, like disengaged from my family. They weren't going to sit around and watch me do this anymore. I called my mom just to let her know where I was. That's it. And she told me she didn't even say she was glad. Thank you for letting me know where you are, but if something's to happen to me or anything, don't come around, don't even come to my funeral. And that's how that was left at that point. So that's kind of an indication of how fractured that relationship was. This was like standing alone in a room and realizing there's nobody or nothing left to blame except me. It's not the job, it's not the IRS, it's not the wife, the ex-wife, it's the guy looking back in the mirror. I was pretty much exhausted by all that, It was kind of like, I just realized that if I didn't do something right now, that there might not ever be another opportunity. And I showed up here, I'm 62 years old. I have a large family, I have lots of nieces and nephews. I was missing stuff I just wasn't part of, and that hurt. But that was something that wasn't going to get changed, until I got clean, stayed clean, and went through that transformation process that the 12 steps have, and then, re-engaging with a membership in a church and just a lot of lifestyle changes. Had to be. So I spent the first night in Samaritan Care, and, I was told, well, they're going to probably have you go to treatment. So Tuesday, I just went to the interview and just put it all out there. Mary was kind of surprised that I just decided to take that leap. Like, without a guarantee, without an appointment, what kind of thinking was going on that you just came to Erie? And I go, well, desperation. If you give me a chance, to the best of my ability, I will, I'll give it my best shot. That's all I can tell you for sure, And later on that day, Carlos came and said, you're in.
Chris is interesting. He had a 32-year-old addiction history with about 40 treatments behind him when he hit the Erie City Mission. Now think about that. And I hope for anybody who's listening, that gives you hope that it doesn't matter how many times a guy's been down that road and relapsed, the next time he could get it. Because Chris did get it. And that's after abusing his body and battling addiction for 32 years, in and out of treatment, times 40. That says something. Chris was comfortable coming into a counselor's office and going through that psychosocial. Not all the guys are that comfortable because they're new and they haven't been through it that many times. Chris was quite comfortable going through that. So my first impression was, okay, he's quite used to being institutionalized to some degree. But let's see what happens. Let's see, because our program's a little bit different, it's transitional. We're not a transitional, we're not a normal institution. These guys are in the community. They're in the churches. They are down on State Street, unfortunately, when they have the dances on the street. They're just asked to be part of our community again. So it wasn't institution. It gave him a chance to have the counseling and the support and the group work that you get in most therapeutic programs, but it gave him community too, and that was a big difference. And I said to him at one point in time, Chris, why are you making it this time? And he said, because I'm doing more than just going through the actions, and I'm actually have a relationship with God. Before that, he said, I would roll through the action. I would just do what I was supposed to do. It was almost like a role play. I didn't quite grasp what that meant. And this time around, I have. And you can see a difference in him. He became more involved with his sponsor, with his supports. He addressed his physical health. He addressed his mental health, his emotional health, and his spiritual health. If you address those things and have a healthy we, you're going to make it.
I can't say if it's 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, but some point in there, the lights come on. You know, bing, you look alive. You look like you're not doing it because out of drudgery or because you have to, that you're enjoying it. You know, you get a little bounce in your step. God, you know, to this day, my best friends are people that I went through the mission with. The guys that were ahead of me, the guys that were after, and that's why I keep coming back. You know, and most of my friends today, if not all of them, are people that are in a 12-step recovery program and living that life, you know. And that's something I didn't see happening or plan for. When she did pass, because of the fact that I was the person that I was today, she was happy and peaceful, and she was ready to go. Because there's no doubt she's sitting next to her husband, you know, for eternity, and the person she missed the most, and she knows that I'm okay. I started to live a Christian way of life. I started working with other people, you know, service work, kind of giving back instead of my life being about me and what I want, what I can get. Yeah, and I was so far away from a decent human being. And then I came to that realization, you know, you've never cared anything about yourself. You know, everything that you've done was motivated to bring something back to you. Today it's the opposite. I have everything I need and then some, you know.
I tell all my guys, when they come in, I expect you to be Associate of the Year one day. And that's just the standard for all of them across the board. So from the start, I have hope for all of them. And Chris just lived up to that because he wanted it. He has just done what we're supposed to do just generally as humans, and that's be a part of a greater thing than ourselves. And he's done that.
If I didn't get sober when I did, I would have died within a year because that's where I was. That's, you know, and then it only gets progressively worse. It never gets better. So whether it was here, back in Warren, or wherever, you know, my life would have been over. Or I would have been walking around wishing I was dead. So it's 180 degrees from that today. There's magic that takes place here that transforms people's lives. I refer to it as we become hope dealers. We deal hope to people that they don't have themselves. And then we get a front row seat on the transformation that takes place, you know, and that's what keeps me involved, because I got a front row seat on a parade of miracles that continuously happens. And why wouldn't you want to be a part of that?